what's going on, guys? BouseFeenux here, and with the dust of Season 4 settling, I'm finally able to sit down and work on this video. I've been wanting to make this one for over 2 weeks now, and I'm super excited to finally share it with you guys. Now, before we get too far, I want to remind you, this video is speculation. None of this has been confirmed. I'm not trying to start any rumors, anything like that. Just trying to make a fun video of what could be in the game's future, and it's pretty exciting to think about. So today, with all of For Honor's scheduled content and new characters finally released, with us looking at a full character roster devoid of blank spaces, it begs the question, what's next for this game? Well, Year 2 isn't exactly confirmed yet, but already people's imaginations are running wild, mine included, and what I wanted to do with this video is not speculate on what heroes would be added to the game for our already existing factions, but speculate on what an entirely new faction in For Honor would look like. So with that, I've been doing some research here and there over the past few weeks on ancient warriors from different countries throughout history, and the group that really caught my eye were the ancient Hindu warriors, the Rajput. These guys were seriously badass and brought to the table some amazing, odd, and pretty terrifying weaponry. Now, disclaimer time, I'm an American. I have an American education, meaning that my interaction with Hindu and Indian cultures is extremely limited, so please don't crucify me in the comments if I pronounce something wrong. It's not my intention to disrespect your culture. If anything, I'd like to know as much as I can about these guys, so if you can fill in the blanks for me, please do. I'd appreciate it, and I think your fellow viewers would as well. Anyway, what I wanted to do was show you guys 4 different weapons that would correspond to each class type in the game. We've got Heavy, Hybrid, Assassin, and Vanguard. I picked out a weapon that each class would use, and I wanted to talk a little bit about each one. So, let's dive in. First up, what weapon would a Hindu Vanguard use in For Honor? Typically, if you look across the board at our existing Vanguards, they all use some pretty large two-handed weaponry. Warden has the hand-and-a-half sword, Kensei has the Nodachi, and Raider uses the two-handed axe. For our Hindu Vanguard warrior, I'd say the Bouge would be a good choice. This is a weapon that originated in Western India, and another name for it would be the axe knife, because basically, this thing is just a giant knife head affixed to an axe-like haft. It's heavy, it's stout, and a lot of them were highly decorated, meaning that legendary gear could look pretty sick. As if this weapon wasn't enough, a lot of times the haft of the weapon was hollow and hit a small stiletto dagger as well. The Bouge usually measured about 20 inches long in total, with the knife blade at the top being about 7 to 10 inches. It's a little small for a Vanguard weapon, but with some historical fudging, For Honor's art designers could probably tack on a few extra inches. Moving on, let's take a look at our Heavy class. Now, Heavy in For Honor means a couple of different things. Heavy doesn't always mean massive weapon. Sometimes it means massive weapon wielder, as is the case with Conqueror and Warlord. Sometimes it means both, as we can see with our friend, the Shigoki here. In any case, I couldn't find a weapon more fitting for a Hindu Heavy in For Honor than the Gada. This is a weapon with a proud heritage and was popular enough to spread to South and Southeastern Asia. From what I've read, this weapon is so deeply entrenched in Indian culture that it's still used today to practice a form of martial arts called Gada Yuddha. It consists of a large, sphere-shaped head with a spike on top of it and is mounted to a metal or wood shaft. The design of the weapon allows thrusting and smashing attacks, and the videos I've seen of people using them almost kind of remind me of some sword techniques, which could be very interesting in practice, especially in a game like this. For our next weapon, let's take a look at what a Hindu assassin warrior might use in For Honor. This is the Katar. It's a type of push dagger that originated in southern India. It basically becomes an extension of your fist and is ideal for use in thrusting and slashing attacks. In ancient India, these weapons were a status symbol among high-ranking warriors and noblemen, and were often carried by the wealthy as a form of protection. This was kind of like the equivalent of carrying a katana around in Japan, but due to its construction, the Katar was extremely stout, and warriors found it useful for piercing chainmail and other armor types. Around the 19th century, the designs for these things got a little out of control, and as a result, some were fitted with flintlock pistols, and some even had blades that were supposed to split into multiple segments when thrust into an enemy. Most of these are just for show though, but anyway, these things were so badass that some of the bravest upper-class soldiers would hunt tigers with one on each fist, and to accomplish such a feat was naturally considered a sure sign of martial skill. The warrior that accomplished it also probably got laid that night. Anyway, the last weapon I wanted to take a look at would belong to our hybrid class type of Hindu warrior. Hybrids in For Honor have always been interesting to me. They're like the junk drawer character of the game, and they aren't really bound to a specific weapon type like they were at the launch of the game. Some use polearms, some use giant swords, and we even have the Aramusha now that uses a dual weapon with his 2 katanas. Despite that, it wasn't hard for me to choose a hybrid type weapon for the hybrid Hindu warrior. This one pretty much jumped out at me. What you're looking at is the Haledi. It's a curved, double-bladed knife and was often used as a thrusting weapon, but due to its design, it could definitely have been used to slash as well. On top of that, it was also adept at parrying attacks. Now, this weapon didn't come alone, because fighters that carried a Haledi also commonly carried a sword known as the Khanda. This is a double-edged straight sword with a blunt tip. Oftentimes, this sword would feature a strengthening plate along one side of its blade that added weight to its downward slashes. As if that wasn't enough though, the pommel of this sword was commonly a large spike that could be used offensively or as a grip when swinging the thing with 2 hands. So there you have it, folks, a Hindu warrior weapon that corresponds to each of the class types we have in the game right now. If you're interested in learning more, I highly suggest taking a look at some of the fighting techniques used with these weapons and let your imagination run wild. There's some pretty neat stuff out there. Also, if you really like this video and you have ideas for other potential factions we might see in For Honor's future, let me know in the comments, and I might do another video similar to this. But that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like down below, and if you're new here, get subscribed for more For Honor content, and soon, I'll be covering Monster Hunter as well with the beta coming in December, so stay tuned for that. Until next time though, I'm BouseFeenux, I'll see you at the next one, and as always, thank you so much for watching.